from the motherland, excuse me. For those that don't know who I am the Honorable Jones, not a Bantu or a Jew, but an El Kebulan kidnap that's ready for the get back, want his shit back. And welcome back to the ROD podcast, where we stand on facts over the beliefs and awakening the minds of the El Kebulan kidnaps worldwide. We outside. Hey, had to come on, give a recap of what was done on yesterday's live. I know Wednesdays is usually the heck show, where we talk about what the heck is going on within the hood, but I was compelled to talk about what the heck religion is doing to our people, right? And it's not only is it doing bad to our people, but it's literally giving us the okay to accept the back seat while every other nation is elevating to whatever elevation they are at or in, they're elevating while we are over here just digressing and not making no progress. And the main reason because of that is religion. Religion has caused Black people to accept being in these turmoil conditions, except being in this mental state, this physical state. And we really believe that, the more you go to church on Sundays, the more you devote to your pastor and to your religion, it's gonna put you in a spiritual advantage. And in reality, bro, we're not in no advantage. We are literally at the bottom of every category you can imagine, and not just the United States, bro, but across the whole entire world, bro. We are at the bottom, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good when I see my community being bought out and people are being forced to sell their business, forced to go to file for bankruptcy, losing their homes. I'm watching this shit in real time, bro. I'm watching this in real time. And every time shit like this happens, the first thing that we're doing is saying, well, I put trust in the Lord Jesus Christ. You will guide my way. And, we make all these religious excuses into the acceptance of this circumstances. These circumstances is not normal. These circumstances is not us. These circumstances is not going to be fixed by Jesus, bro. I don't know how many times I got to stress that. It will not be fixed. Jesus didn't fix the slaves when we was in slavery, bro. Jesus wasn't there to fix us when these niggas arrived and grabbed us. I'm talking about physically grabbed us. There was no intervening with Jesus, bro. There was no intervening with Jesus. So we have to realize that religion has caused us to be psychologically insane. We are nuts. We are losing our minds because we are stuck here believing that Jesus is going to be the one to fix the problem when Jesus didn't fix not one thing. Jesus didn't heal your mother from cancer. Jesus didn't prevent a Black man from being gunned down, whether it's by the police, whether it's by the KKK, whether it's by a fellow nigga in the streets. Jesus did not do absolutely nothing. And we need to come to the realization that he's not doing nothing. He will not do nothing. And the only something that has to be done is you and I. It's you and I. I'm watching this in real time. I'm watching these people literally put their houses up for foreclosure because people can't pay this, because the bills are so high. These people are secretly, strategically taking everything away from you, bro. And what do we have to show for it? A pair of Jordans, some sneakers, a car, some jewelry. Nigga, F all that. All of these shits has no value, bro. And I know you guys get upset. And I know you guys are very pissed off behind it. But listen, man, somebody got to speak up, man. Somebody got to speak up. Somebody got to tell grandma, man, stop going to these churches, bro. I was in a church yesterday, man. These niggas had a violation. I had to go see what this violation was about, bro. I go inside this church, man. Yo, bro. Oh my jeez. You know what? Due to contract, you know, contract agreements. I'm not even obligated to talk about what the heck that I saw, man. But just understand what we're seeing is not. It's not good, bro. It's not good. It's not. The biggest church supporters are the biggest are the biggest people that's dealing with obesity. They are the ones that's dealing with these diseases. And I kid you not, they see all of these elements going on with their bodies and shit like that. And the only thing that they'll say to you is, well, you know, I trust in Jesus. You know, Jesus is gonna find a way. Jesus is gonna make a way. And then it's like, no, bro, Jesus is not making a way, man. You understand? Jesus is not making a way. He's not. Can we break out of this hypnosis? Can we break out of this this psyops? Can we break out of it? No, Jesus is not finding a way. Allah is not finding a way. Abraham is not finding a way. Jacob is not finding a way. You can't, these fairy tale characters can't find a way when they never existed, bro. They never existed. You have to just accept it for what it is, guys. They never existed. They never walked with us. They never talked to us. There was no God that came and had an altar and had a conversation. None of these shits happened, bro. None of it happened. We have to get out of this ideology. There's people in Jerusalem, whether you believe it's in the Levant or you believe it to be in South Africa. There has yet to be a single person that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has cast down and had a conversation with. Nobody. It's so sad right now that we as people are literally, depending on a narrative that these niggas is giving you, bro, to the point where we're making human beings be the presence of the Lord because these niggas realize that, well, if we can't get to the characters of the Bible, why don't we make the characters of the Bible actually tie in with the people that we can honestly see? This is the shit that we seeing, guys. This is facts. Niggas can't find no characters within the Bible, so they're making characters out of their pastors, their deacons, their bishops. These are the niggas that we're making characters, and we're making these niggas represent these characters in the Bible, acting like these niggas is gonna be the one to fix the problem. We're putting these trusts in man. We're reading man's story, and we're taking man's story as the end all be all. We're saying, yeah, man, you know, the Bible was written by God for you to follow, but nobody can trace who's the original writer. Who? Listen, the story of Moses couldn't be written by Moses if Moses is talking about his very own death. That's just logically super beyond insane. This is what I mean. We on the religious hypnosis, bro. We're hypnotized. We're literally under a spell. We're under a European spell. I had a brother on Instagram tell me something pertaining to the Bible and talking about, oh, my brother, you know, I'm gonna tell you this again, man. You unlearning this. I say, yo, I had to correct this. I say, yo, my nigga, you talking to a brother that not only taught this, nigga. I used to street preach this bullshit, bro. And part of my language is just a high level of frustration. I'm pissed off. I say, yo, bro, I used to teach this, bro. You don't know who you talking to. You don't know. Don't let my voice and my image fool you, bro. When I disengaged from this ideology, I totally disengaged. I didn't just disengage from the belief, but yet kept the core foundation. No, all of it was removed from me. Every single bit of it, from the way that I dress, from the way that I talk, from the way that I walk. No, you're going to respect me and honor me for being a hood individual. I'm a product of my environment, and I don't need no Jesus story to correct that, because it was the Jesus story that got me here in the first place. I don't need no Jesus story to correct that, sir. I don't need it. I don't need it. And I'm not going to be like you and try to put a front, because a lot of these dudes that come out of these religious backgrounds, deep down inside, they want to go back into the world. They want to participate. That's why they still watching football, basketball, because according to the Bible, you're not supposed to love none of it. You're not supposed to be entertaining nothing. The only thing you're supposed to be doing is becoming as righteous as you can be to start healing the people. If you're not able to do that, or you indulge yourself into anything outside of that, you are loving the things of this world. And when you bring this shit up to these people, you got met with, oh, that's not what it means, my brother. That's not what it. So what does it mean? What does it mean? It means that you only going to justify what you feel like is justification for you, what's beneficial for you, what you can relate to. But everybody else that does the same thing that you're doing, if it's not in line to what you accept, you're demonizing them. You're telling them, oh, you're wrong. You don't know what you're worshiping. You don't know what you're doing. Oh, you're going to hell. You're giving all of these fairy tale stories, and it's like you're pimping. We really not trying to hear none of that, dog. We're really not trying to hear none of that. You can't contradict what the scriptures is saying. And that's one of the major issues into why I had to discontinue. Like, nah, this is not for me to be following. This is literally man's writings, man's assumptions, and everybody's going to get their own perception out of this. Everybody getting their own perception. We could read the same exact book and find 15 different versions. 15 different versions, 17 different, this is what it really means. Out of the same book, bro. 17 different versions out of one precept. I can read one precept and it'll be 16 different understandings behind that. You cannot tell me that's the word of God. The word of God is supposed to be as straightforward, strictly straight to the point, tell you what it is. This is how you move. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're not supposed to do. But you got 17 different versions because the book is only to justify whoever is reading it perception. So if I'm reading it and I'm telling you 1 + 1 = 2 or 1 + 1 = 7, the way I'm breaking it down, you are in line to believe that it's 7. And if you question that it's not 7, then that means you are a demon. That means you are possessed. That means you're going to hell. That means you're not in the spirit. That means the Lord didn't wake you up. That means the Ruach Kadash is not in you. You're going to hear all this nonsense, bro. But in reality, let's call it for what it is. You don't even know what you're studying. You don't even know what you're practicing. You don't even know what you believe in, bro. You don't know what you believe in it. This is what you call religious psyops, religious hypnosis. We are under a spell, bro. And who's man enough to break out of this spell? Are you man enough to break out of it? Are you strong enough? Do you really want to break out of it? Because, you know, breaking out of it is literally breaking out of the system. Because we all know that the system, the foundation of all European systems is based on religion, bro. What's the war going on in Palestine and Israel? What's the purpose? What's the foundation of it, right? Religion, right? Oh, the Lord gave us this land. Religion, right? It falls back to religion, right? Religion, right? Okay. Okay, cool. It falls right back to religion. Everything goes back to religion. It goes back to religion. It goes back to religion. Your viewpoints. Why you celebrate Christmas? Why you celebrate New Year's? What religious studies have you practiced that made you say, yeah, man, this is where we supposed to be? Religion, bro. All of it is religion. Religion is the foundation of everything. So when you discontinue from religion, you're literally separating yourself from the system. And once you separate yourself from the system, that's when the problem starts. That's when the enemy arrives. I repeat, that's when the problems start. That's when the enemy arrives. Is when you discontinue yourself from this religion. And people know that. They know that. That's why it's millions, and if not billions of dollars invested into these religions to keep black people away from who they are and what they're supposed to do. But this hypnosis is real. This spell, this religious spell is for real. It's for real. You are under a spell. You can't prove what you believe. You can't prove it. Look, somebody got a sticker on their car and it says, "Do you follow Jesus closely?" On their car right now. Do you follow Jesus this closely? This is on somebody's car right now. Everything about around us is literally from the foundation of religion. And again, you got to ask yourself, what has religion done to you? Has it benefited you? Has it healed you? Has it give you long lasting life? Has it protect you from sicknesses and diseases? Has it keeping you strong? Has it given you, have God come onto you and spoken to you and give you the strength, the spiritual strength that you need to elevate, to get to the next level? Has it? If not, then what are we doing? If it hasn't done any of that, then what are we doing? Why are we still here? Why are we still in this car? Why are we still letting the driver who's headless continue to navigate our cars, to navigate our directions? Why? Why? Huh? Why? Why aren't we questioning the very belief that these people can't prove anything? Like I would totally be in agreement under this hypnosis spell if these spells and these people, these characters, these stories can be proven. It can't be proven. It can't be proven. I asked these people, okay, so Solomon had 500 concubines. How come we're not able to trace the 500 concubines? Solomon had children. How come we're not able to trace the children? How come we can only go back to David's lineage, but forget about Solomon's lineage? Isn't Solomon important? Isn't he an important figure? Wasn't Solomon's writings what people run to in the book of Psalms? There's more writings of Solomon than there is of David, bro. David was just First Kings and Second Kings. Solomon is Proverbs. Proverbs. What's the other one? Psalms. What's the Ecclesiasticus, etc. This was Solomon. Yet nobody has no whereabouts on where his children is, where his wife was, where his loved ones are. There's no whereabouts. And we arguing and we sitting here fighting people over ideologies because that's just what it is, bro. It's allegory, man. Galatians 4:24 tells you that, bro. This is allegory. From the story of Abram to the very creation of Jesus, it's only allegory. That's why Paul does not follow anything that Jesus is saying, because he knows that this is just an allegory. Okay? People in today's world does not even follow the writings of Jesus. People know that Jesus does not exist, bro. Your existence and understanding of Jesus come from the Paulinian text. So basically, you're following the ways of Paul over Jesus. You know why? Because the story of Jesus does not make sense, but the story of Paul suits your lifestyle, because you know Paul came to talk to you. Paul came to do this. Paul was in the church. You can relate to seeing a church. You can relate to writings and this and that. You can't relate none of this when it's pertaining to you. You can't relate none of you to the story of Jesus, bro. You can't. Because when Jesus said that he wrestled with the devil, you can't relate to that. When Jesus said that he took five loaves of bread and he fed an entire colony, you cannot relate to that, bro. You can't relate to it. And because you can't relate to it, this is why a lot of people are standing with the Paulinian writings over the story of Jesus. This is facts. 79. This is facts. We have taken the Paulinian writings and take the Paulinian writings over the story of Jesus, bro. You know why? Because niggas can't relate to the story of Jesus, bro. The story of Jesus. Oh, 79. Hold on, it's freezing out here. I'm putting gas in the car. You grab myself a bottle. Are you dumb or are you dumb? Come on, son. You gotta get an actual big bottle of water. The fuck? Come on, man. We gotta do better as people, bro. We over here subjecting ourselves to this Paulinian nonsense. We're subjecting ourselves to this whole religious nonsense. I'm not even gonna talk about Islam, bro. The fact that black people is still investing in Islam is beyond crazy to me, bro. The fact that black people is investing in Islam is beyond crazy to me, bro. You see what these you see what these Somalian niggas is doing to the black people. You see what the Egyptians, you see what the Arabs in Egypt is doing to the real Egyptians, bro. And you guys are subjecting to this ideology. You guys getting on your knees 5 times a day to go pray to an image that goes to trace back to the moon god. That the name is, before it was Allah, it was Allah. This is why when you walk around the pyramid, I mean that goddamn cube, it's a mother effing vagina in the center of it that you put your head in there for $10,000-$20,000. Some people was paying $100,000 just to put their head inside of this foolish bullshit and thinking that they're gonna get some spiritual revelation and they're gonna be awakening and they're gonna have some spiritual powers and they're gonna take over the world and they're gonna have prosperity. It's the same rhetoric bullshit, bro. Come on, son. I have a close man of mine, yo, bro. I'm like, yo, bro, you really into this Islam shit, son? You really into this, bro? Like, I get it. Some y'all niggas is locked up, son. Y'all niggas join Islam for the protection. But in reality, bro, in real time, you telling me you really invested into this? You really thinking that Allah is answering your prayers, bro? You really thinking that Allah is gonna protect you? You really thinking Allah is... Come on, son. Y'all niggas is bugging, bro. This is the hypnosis. This is the shit that I be talking about. Like, yo, what's wrong with you guys, bro? Have you niggas lost your minds? Have you niggas lost your way? What's up? What's up? If you, the same investment that you niggas is doing into this religious nonsense, the same investments that you're doing, imagine if you did that. Imagine if you did that for African studies, you know, cosmology, you know, things that make sense, things that you can really trace back, that can be backed and justified through science, through logical, through historical events that you can trace back to your ancestors. Imagine if you did that, bro. Imagine if you started study what the Haitians and the Tahinos and the Arawaks was doing that gained their freedom. Imagine if you was doing that, bro. Imagine if you was investing into that. Come on, son, my nigga, the world will come to an end, bro. The world will come to an end. You would gain your freedom a long time ago, pimp it. Imagine if you just did that. Niggas don't want to do that. Everybody just want to just be under this hypnosis and thinking that their hypnosis, their psyop, their psychosis belief into this nonsense is why they're here and why God is going to protect them and why they're going to receive the eternal. Like, yo, my nigga, get out of here with that, bro. Hey, yo, get out of here with that, bro. There's nothing out of this story that nobody can prove. And I put up $1,000. I gotta tell you all the time, so I got $1,000 in cash if you're able to prove everything that coming out of the scriptures, bro. $1,000. Matter of fact, we can raise it up. We can raise it up to 20 bands. $20,000 for anybody that's able to prove anything that these niggas is talking about in that story. $20,000. You can't do it. You can't. You can't. And I'm only keeping it 20 because I know some of you guys don't even have that type of finances to even take that type of wager. $20,000 if you could prove these things. You're not going to be able to prove it, bro. You're not. You're not. Because the first thing that you're going to go to me and tell me is a belief. You're going to give me your belief. You're not going to give me your facts. You're going to give me your belief. You cannot justify anything with your belief. It has to go in line with not just the universe. It has to go in line with science. It has to go in line with everything that you understand that justifies the existence of anything. The Bible is the only existence of the Bible or the Quran or any religion. It literally goes back to what you was told. You're not going to find no story of Allah outside of religious stories. If I go to the library right now and I go into the biography section you're not going to find a story of Allah. You're not going to find a story of Muhammad. If I go to the biography section, I'm not going to find a story of Jesus. I'm not going to find a historical story of Jesus. But if I go to the religious section, if I go to the religious side of the library, I'm going to have every story of Jesus, Buddha, etc., etc. But if I go to get a biological biography of this person, I'm not going to find nothing. I'm not going to find nothing. Not one jot, not one tittle, not one whistle, not one pickle. You're not going to find nothing, which means that I'm not going to know no story of Jesus unless I go into the religious section. I'm not going to find no story of Allah and Muhammad unless I go to the religious section. And at this point, these niggas better you might as well put these things in the fictional section. Oh yeah, bro, you know, these things is fiction, bro. You know, it ain't real, man. You might as well. You're not even gonna find a story of Jesus in the non-fiction section. You're not going to find them in the biography section. You're not going to find it in the non-fiction section. The only way you're going to find a story of Jesus is only in the religious section. I know. I was in the library the other day. And say, yo, son, I need to get me some books to read. And I got these books, you know what I'm saying? I'm driving, I'm drinking my tea, so you don't need to see my face. You know what I'm saying? Today's not about seeing my face. It's hearing the word. It's understanding the word. It's understanding the facts. You understand? And in the library, anything pertaining to God, pertaining to religion or Jesus or Muhammad or what's the other person's name? Damn, I forgot the other religion. But whatever, anything is only going to be found in religion. You're not going to find no autobiography of Jesus. You're not going to find no autobiography of Allah, Muhammad. You're not going to find no nothing, no biography of nothing. But here we are fighting each other, justifying each other, making us literally stay in this psychological hypnosis where we're content with everything that you see going on around us. And instead of questioning it, instead of holding people accountable, when are we going to start holding Jesus accountable? Huh? When are we going to start holding Jesus accountable? When are we going to start holding God accountable? Can somebody answer that? When are we going to start holding God accountable? When are we going to start holding Allah accountable? When are we going to start holding Muhammad accountable? When? Everybody is quick to say, well, you got to hold yourself accountable. Okay, no problem. I could do that. But the very foundation of our psyche comes from Allah, Muhammad, Jesus, Yahweh, Yahoo, and nobody don't hold these people accountable. When are we going to hold Jesus accountable because he didn't heal you? When are you going to hold Jesus accountable because he have yet to show you how to move mountains? No, none of you niggas have moved mountains. None of you niggas have cured anybody that's in stage 4 cancer. None of you guys have done any of that. Zero. Not one jot, not one tittle. So when are we gonna start holding Jesus accountable? I'm gonna make that a broadcast. I'm gonna make that a podcast. Matter of fact, with my other phone, I'm gonna make that a podcast. Everything, 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 everything. Hold on, I'm driving. Everything seems to be on our backs, but the very corporate people that told us to follow them, and this is what's gonna happen if we follow them. Nothing has. You understand? Nothing came out and did absolutely nothing, bro. Like I'm lost for words. It's like, bro, how come we're not seeing none of this? We're not questioning nothing, bro. We're in a space now where we're like, yo, man, you know, that's God's doing, man. It's God's will. What can be done, what will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Yo, bro, we come up with so much excuses, bro. And it's like, damn, are we gonna let these excuses be the end all be all to destroy our very existence? Are we not going to start holding these people accountable? Or we're not going to start questioning the very religious belief that you're subject to? You pray 5 times a day, and yet your bill is overdue. You pay 5 times a day. You go to church every Sunday. You do all of this. Your pastor is driving in yachts and riding in foreign cars, and your ass is over here taking the bus, could barely pay for an Uber. You got to do Uber shares where you got to share the ride with somebody to get to your destination. Meanwhile, your pastor's pulling up in a Rolls Royce. Matter of fact, I keep it 100 with you, bro. There's a church out here in Brooklyn, in Canarsie, bro. This nigga comes flying around in private jets. Listen, the nigga got a helicopter that lands on top of the mother effing roof, bro. The nigga got a flying jet, the flying plane that lands on top of the roof, bro. If I'm lying, I'm flying, bro. I seen it with my own 2 eyes. Meanwhile, the people left the church and I see them standing in the cold waiting for the bus. I'm like, damn, with all this money, you telling me you can't even pay for a yellow bus to pick these people up, send them on their way, send them to their destination? Yo, these people be old people waiting for the bus and nobody don't question nothing, bro. That's crazy. But yo, like I said, man, I'm gonna leave it as that, man. The next podcast is gonna be titled, when are we going to start holding Jesus accountable? When are we going to start holding him accountable? Because everything that Jesus said that he was going to do, if you follow him, he has not did. Not one thing. You guys are not receiving eternal life. You niggas are not living in the time. His second return is supposed to be in your time. Some of you guys is dying believing in Jesus. All of these shits is happening and nothing is coming your way. When are you going to start holding Jesus accountable? I don't care what you believe in. I don't care if you're thinking that I'm crazy. I'm asking you a simple question. When are you going to start holding Jesus accountable? It's a simple mathematics, bro. Simple GED. When are you going to hold Jesus accountable, bro? When are you going to say, yo, Jesus, son, this is not adding up. Yo, Jesus, what's up with you? Yo, Jesus was this. Yo, Jesus was that. When are you going to start doing that? When? How much family members need to be unalive? How much friends and all of that needs to go to jail? When is Jesus going to remove the drugs from the community? When is Jesus going to heal the people from taking drugs? When is Jesus going to make Europeans love black people? When is Jesus going to do anything, bro? Anything? Why is Jesus supposed to be the word of the world, the God of the world, but yet the world is so evil and wicked? When is Jesus gonna do anything, bro? Do something, my nigga. Do something other than make me get up and praise you on Sunday, bro. Do something for me, my nigga. Do something for me, my nigga. Come on, son. I'm out of here, man.